like every week, apocalypse.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. It's begun. The United States has started bombing the Middle East yet again. So we got a couple things that we're gonna do. Oh, Rumble's not working. Huh. So let me see if I can rectify that while I'm saying the intro here. The United States has begun bombing the Middle East in retaliation for the 3 service members and dozens that were injured during the bombing or during the quote unquote drone attack in Northeast Jordan at Tower 22. So this morning was dignified transfer. I figured we'd start with dignified transfer and then go from there. So without further ado, we will pay our respects and watch the dignified transfer of the 3 service members that were killed in Jordan. President Joseph Biden did attend, as you can see, Dr. Joe Biden. So did Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and some soldiers as well. For those of you just joining, we are watching the dignified transfer of the 3 service members that were killed in Jordan. Trying not to interrupt too much, but we'll give commentary and updates on what's going on after the transfers are over. Once again, we thank them for their service and their sacrifice. And I think you might be right that they might have been. I saw it somewhere. Um, maybe they died in vain. Maybe they were pawns. Because they went too quick, in my opinion. But that's the American way to do it, baby. You know that. Um, so they have been transferred. I also saw another message. Sorry, I didn't. Did Biden meet with the families? Was that upcoming? He had a phone call with one of them. We played it on the news program last night. Very short phone call. But to that, that's all I know of as far as what took place there. So, um, I'm going to read the statements from President Joseph Robinette Biden, and then we'll read the statement from Secretary Lloyd Austin, and then we'll get into what has happened and what has transpired already. Statement for President Joseph Biden on U.S. military operations in the Middle East. This past Sunday, 3 American soldiers were killed by a drone launched by militant groups backed by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, or IRGC. Earlier today, I attended the dignified return of these brave Americans at Dover Air Force Base, and I've spoken with each of their families. So, apparently, he has spoken with their families. I know one of them was by phone. So, this afternoon, at my direction, U.S. military forces struck targets at facilities in Iraq and Syria that the IRGC and affiliated militia used to attack U.S. forces. Our response began today. It will continue at the time and place of our choosing. The United States does not seek conflict with the Middle East or anywhere else in the world. But let all those who might seek to do us harm know this. If you harm Americans, we will respond. And this is from the DoD, Secretary Lloyd Austin. Statement from Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin III on U.S. strikes in Iraq and Syria. Following the attack on U.S. and coalition forces in northeastern Jordan this past Sunday that killed 3 U.S. service members, at President Biden's direction, U.S. military forces today conducted strikes on 7 facilities, which included more than 85 targets in Iraq and Syria that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and affiliated militias used to attack U.S. forces. This is the start of our response. The president has directed additional actions to hold the IRGC and affiliated militias accountable for their attacks on the United States and coalition forces. These will unfold at times and places of our choosing. We do not seek conflict in the Middle East or anywhere else. But the president and I will not tolerate attacks on American forces. We'll take all necessary actions to defend the United States, our forces, and our interests. So we responded, we responded kind of in a big way. As you saw or as you heard, uh, 85 plus sites so far. It's scheduled to continue for quite some time, at least days, if not weeks, is the report. Um, and then we have various strike videos and that kind of stuff. So this one is going to be a viewer discretion uh, stream. So if you don't want to see the Middle East getting bombed yet again, then this one's probably not for you. So we'll go over to Twitter, OSINT Defender. Significant casualties reported following U.S. airstrikes on a base used by the IRGC of Iran in the town of Al-Madin in eastern Syria. Additional U.S. airstrikes. Several U.S. officials reported that 2 B-1B Lancer heavy bombers, along with roughly 10 attack fighter aircraft from U.S. CENTCOM, are participating in tonight's airstrikes against the IRGC and Iranian-backed groups in eastern Syria and Iraq. Again, just they're using B-1B Lancers, and we'll look at those in a minute. So this is one of the bombing runs. All right. You're getting all kinds of different. This is just the beginning. Here's another video of there's actually 2 videos here. So some bombings taking place. And there are multiple outlets reporting this at this point. So U.S. reported hitting more than 85 targets in Iraq and Syria, with some of them struck multiple times. And United States officials state there will not be airstrikes in Iran in response. So they're hoping that there's deterrence factor if they strike other Middle Eastern countries that the militia is operating in, but they will not at this time directly strike Iran. Headquarters and operation base by the 13th Brigade of Iranian-backed Popular Mobilization Forces within the town of Akistan in western Iraq reportedly had been completely destroyed by United States airstrikes. And here's secondary munitions cooking off from Iranian arms site at the town of Al-Kim in western Iraq following the U.S. airstrikes. It's easy. Senior officials stated the ongoing air campaign against the IRGC and the Iranian-backed groups as a response to the drone attack on Base 22 in northeastern Jordan, which resulted in the deaths of 3 American service members, will not consist of airstrikes in Iran. Tonight's airstrikes are far bigger action undertaken before against Iran's proxies. There's the statements. Statement. Single nonstop flight from the U.S. enhanced by Transportation Command and our ability to gas and go along the way. So that's why Cheese and I saw a shit ton of air refuelers moving across, because they were staging them because they flew B-1s from the United States, struck, and came home. White House Security Counsel John Kirby stated that strikes tonight against the Islamic Revolutionary Guard (IRGC) and Iran-backed forces consist of 4 sites in Syria, 3 in Iraq, with 85 targets at 7 combined locations appearing to be successfully destroyed by at least 85 precision-guided munitions. All right, so we'll go over. We'll take a look at some of the aircraft that were involved in tonight's shock and awe show of force. Here's a big boy that they were talking about that flew from the States. This is a B-1B Lancer. It is a giant aircraft, and a bomber, long-range bomber. Bones my mind, no. They need it. To be fair, these countries already hated the West. They're Iraq and Syria. An Airlon turn. And here's the bombing run. There's a buff.
Now in from the right. The B-1 continues over the battlefield.
I don't trust Biden either. It's a big plane. They're pretty planes, though. Our next, the next culprit that will be taking part in, or took part in the bombing raids, another fan favorite, the A-10 Warhawk. Oh. Plane go. They're actual bombings, but not from this one. Just showing the planes that were involved. This video's got to be almost over. 20 seconds. All right, so that's the A-10 Warthog. And then last but not least, our international partners actually supplied some F-16s to do some runs as well. And this is the F-16. The noise scares the hell out of you, unless you're American.
Things come on so fast. It's like already.
And that was that's not 14. And that was the F-16. So those were the 3 planes that were used: the B-1B Lancer, the F-16, and the A-10 Warthog. The A-10 Warthog is so sexy. So sexy. But anyways, couple more posts, and then we'll wrap up. But the Iraqi armed forces have condemned the U.S.-led airstrike tonight against the IRGC and Iranian-backed groups in Iraq and Syria, stating that it was a violation of Iraqi sovereignty and a threat that will drag Iraq into the region and unforeseen consequences. And I think that's normal. I think that's normal. I mean, people are going to be upset, and it's going to happen. So, absolutely going to happen. There's going to be a wider conflict. They're already talking about the Israel effect, that kind of stuff. U.S. Navy was not involved in tonight's airstrike in Iraq and Syria. U.S. official tells me U.S. warplanes carried out the attacks using yet 2 B-1B bombers that flew nonstop from the U.S. and refueled midair along the way. And this is the most recent post. This was an hour ago from start of the stream, so about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before I got on. Renewed U.S. airstrikes have reportedly targeted Houthi position in northwestern Yemen near the city of Saad. So now we're bombing Yemen again. So just open that baby up. Just keep bomb. Bomb away, right? So that's coming, and I consider this to be a mean tweet. But today, at my direction, U.S. military forces. This is former Vice President Joseph Biden. U.S. military forces struck targets in Iraq and Syria that IRGC and affiliated militia used to attack U.S. forces. We do not seek conflict in the Middle East or anywhere in the world, but those who seek to do us harm, we will respond. So that's an official tweet from President Biden. And the first 2 responses are, "You're literally on vacation," and "Fuck you, cunt." Seems about right. 81 million votes, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's pretty obvious that we're going to expand this war. We are now the aggressors. When you hit 85 targets in sovereign nations, then you're asking for it to continue to continue and unfold and get bigger and bigger. So now it is Syria, Iraq, and Yemen again. So we're getting further updates. Yeah. Yeah, I know. U.S. officially at war with Iran. No more proxy war. U.S. drops 125 bombs on 85 targets linked to the IRGC. So we'll wait to see how Iran responds. There certainly will be a response. I'm sure of it. Oh, really? I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, Joe's not doing that shit. Yeah. So we're back at conflict, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially underway. The board, for what it's worth, is clear in the area. But if there's operations going on, obviously the board's going to be clear because we won't be able to see those. They won't be transponder aircraft. However, we still have some movement on this kind of corridor that we've been seeing. kind of out of the East Coast over to Mildenhall and then over to the Middle East. We're still seeing that. I saw a couple planes heading over the drink earlier before I started the show, and then we have this guy, a Kuwait C-17 that's headed that direction. This guy's going that way. C-17 Globemaster out of South Carolina. He's going up that corridor. It kind of goes up and around because, the Earth is round, so everything's on an arc. So, what movie? Wag the Dog? Oh, okay. I'll put it on the list. I don't watch a ton of movies, but if they come highly regarded, I'll try and get them. So we got a 7:30 up over there, but it's relatively light. But that's because a lot of our shit's probably in this area right here. So, yeah, roundish. Okay, will do. All right, so that's Mike's gonna be attacked heavy in the coming hours and days. Yeah, we figured that. And I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything new. Since the world sucks and we're in World War III, I'm gonna play a song to end the show. Maybe if I can find it. Yeah, UK looks really quiet. Again, they're probably operational, so I'd imagine that there would be some kind of blackout since they are operational at the current time. But, so I'm not seeing anything more. If I do, absolutely, I will let you guys know. But it is absolutely confirmed. We've been bombing the shit out of the Middle East. It apparently started at midnight their time or 4 p.m. our time. So it's been going on for a little bit. They're going through a second round, as we can see right now. So there'll probably be more targets and increases in casualties and things of that nature. So, but with that being said, I'm gonna play us out on this song that I found was funny because the world sucks and sometimes we just need to laugh a little bit. And I miss him and I want him back. I'll catch you guys if there's anything that new that breaks. Until then, stay safe, everybody, and have a good night. Take care.
Truck the Don, back at it again. This time in the countryside. Shout out Jason Aldean, Morgan Wallen, and Dana White. I could have just retired in peace. I could have been golfing with my niece. I could have been chilling on the beach, but I got too much love for the streets. Hey, let's make America great for every religion and race. Yeah, men don't have a vagina. The radical left works for China. All I ever wanted for the USA was a good economy for your family. Protect the southern border, make a place that's safe for your kids to go outside and play. Look at San Francisco, take a look at LA. Look at New York City, man, it just ain't the same. We all know the radical left is to blame for weaponizing your religion and race. Nancy, tell me how that house is so fancy, but you only make $100K a year. How'd that happen? Your husband Paul prancing in his panties, just dancing with his boyfriend in your mansion. That actually happened. These politicians pretend that they care, but only look out for themselves. It ain't fair. The economy is not what it was, but I'll die trying to wake her back up. All I ever wanted for the USA What's a good economy for your family? Protect the southern border, make a place that's safe for your kids to go outside and play. Look at San Francisco, take a look at LA. Look at New York City.